We, of course, remember the horse medicine, horse dewormer phase of the ivermectin discussion. Feels like a lifetime ago, but I think it was literally like 3 months ago. Anyway, so obviously that was attacked by the media. Ivermectin was censored from the internet. Obviously, the efficacy of that remains up in the air. You can go and do the research.
The latest studies seem to indicate it doesn't do anything.
Look, I saw some pushback on that. By the way, I don't care anymore, okay? Just, do whatever you want. At this point, COVID's mostly a cold, so you can deal with it. Now, from this point forward, though, it has set a standard, of course, by both Twitter and in general by the media. We should be critically covering drugs that people are taking experimentally, and we should be labeling them horse medicine if, in fact, you are experimenting with those drugs. Now, in the wake of the Roe versus Wade case, we have a hilarious demonstration which was both allowed on Twitter and has yet to receive any of the fact-check freak-out coverage that we saw with the ivermectin debate. Let's put this up there on the screen. Okay, so Motherboard, a distributor, part of Vice News, put out this piece post-Roe versus Wade. Misoprostol, which is relatively easy to acquire from veterinary sources, since in addition to medically inducing abortions, is also used to treat ulcers in horses. And Krystal, Vice is sharing there a anarchist collective advisory that you can make your own do-it-yourself abortion pill by specifically acquiring horse medicine. And as we said, they specifically referred to ivermectin at that time during the Rogan scandal, saying Rogan has recovered from COVID-19 and used his first show back to spread misinformation about the horse deworming drug that he took. Now, Motherboard, whenever it was confronted with this side-by-side comparison, they had this to say, quote, "You may be reminded of ivermectin, which is used to control parasites in horses. It became a favored but ineffective COVID treatment among conspiracy theorists. The main difference here in our reporting is that misoprostol does something other than giving you the shits." So that is their...
But that's kind of fair, right? Like the thing that they're talking about it for is actually proven to have the impact that they're saying it has.
I guess. I mean, I just think in general, at the time, what was being put out... By the way, ivermectin, as I understand it, doesn't have any of the negative side effects. It's been put out and used by billions of people, I believe, specifically in the developing world.
Yeah, but not the horse version, which is a much larger quantity.
Okay.
And more...
Right. I'm not a doctor.
I know.
All right.
Listen, I did have a little bit of a different take on this, though, because...
okay. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I read the article that this was about, and I think the point of the article was more like, it wasn't like, go out and make your DIY anti-abortion pills, or abortion pills, guys. It was like kind of a warning of these are the type of lengthened measures that women in a post-Roe world are likely to go to. And, I mean... Judging by history, that's probably just the case.
It's
sort of like
true.
This is sort of like the modern version of the back alley abortion and the coat hanger. So I saw it in a different light than you did.
I definitely agree with you that that's what the article is about, but the headline specifically is sharing instructions to make DIY abortion pills. So
it says anarchist collective shares instructions to make DIY abortion pills. And in the article, they don't go out of their way to be like, I think they do have some language in there about like, guys, not a great idea to DIY
should we not
your
tell
own
people that? Yeah,
meds.
be like, hey guys, don't take horse meds and try and DIY any of this.
Yeah,
so,
but it seemed to me like the point was like a warning about these are the sort of dystopian measures that we're going.
And that's a fair point, which a decent amount of people actually do make for people who are reluctantly pro-choice. Anyway, more what I thought is that the treatment that this is getting seems pretty ridiculous because actually it trended all across of Twitter. It didn't receive any of the negative coverage. And even people who are sympathetic and are very much within the point that you're making, Krystal, were not as quick in order to jump on it. So it's like, look, is horse meds good or bad? How about this? It's always bad. And we should just tell people, hey, consult with a physician, a doctor. You shouldn't be trying to DIY your own abortion pills specifically. I mean, I can't think of a more horrific thing in order to try and screw around with. So look, your point well taken within the article itself, but I do think that the treatment of the two stories does tell us quite a bit about like which horse drugs are apparently allowed and good for discussion on the internet, and then which, not even a horse drug really, but castigated as a horse drug at the time, which are completely off limits.
Again, there is a key difference here in that this particular horse drug seems to have more medical evidence behind it in terms of having the effect that they're talking about versus the other one.
There was some studies which showed clinical use of ivermectin. Not like a ton.
Listen,
obviously.
I was against the censorship of, you know,
no, I know you were,
discussion
but
about ivermectin.
there was Japan, you know, there were some Indian cases and that people could point to and say, hey, maybe this thing works. And, you know, this is a different time. It was like September of 2021. I just went in and checked. So I think there was a decent enough case pretty much for the exact same thing. I'm sure there's all kinds of side effects from whatever that. Look, anything that medically induces an abortion does not seem to be one of those things you should be screwing around with regardless.
Yeah.
I probably would say ivermectin is, once again, I am not a doctor, seems probably safer in order to use. However, as you said, the horse deworming version, probably much stronger. I did check though, my dog's heartworm medicine is ivermectin, which I thought was hilarious. I was giving my dog a heart. I was like, oh my God, this is ivermectin. I was like, oh, I guess just take some of this.
Stash some just in case.
Yeah, I should stash some for myself. I actually don't care if I get COVID. Anyway.
We should say for the YouTube,
I know.
whatever
don't
out
take
there.
medical advice.
Don't take our medical advice.
Yes.
Don't DIY it with horse meds,
please.
even the ones that
do
have
not
more
DIY
efficacy behind
meds.
them.
Period. Okay, how about that one?
Yes.
Let's put all the disclaimers out there.
Cable news is ripping us apart, dividing the country, making it impossible to function as a society, and making it impossible to know just what is true and what is false. But the good news is they are failing and they know it.
That is why we're building something new, a new mainstream, a healthier one, something more trustworthy, something that we are going to need in one of the most pivotal times in American history. We are building up here for the midterms, for the upcoming presidential election, but we need your help. So if you can help us out by becoming a premium member today at breakingpoints.com, we're trying to change America for the better and the entire world.
So what are you waiting for, guys? Go to breakingpoints.com and sign up and help us build a new mainstream.